Good evening, Motor Valley. Here we go again with our third appointment, the last appointment for today of this series of visits, of virtual tours in the most exciting and interesting museums in the Motor Valley. We are now in the Enzo Ferrari Museum in Modena. In a short while, we are going to discover all the beauties of this special place. There will be a guide with us explaining us why it is so special. But before we start, I would like to remind our friends from abroad that in a few days they will find this video available in English language. So let's move. Here I have Giulia. Giulia is going to be our host and our guide for today. So Giulia, why is this museum so special, so exciting? Welcome everybody. This is really a special place, a unique place. We are at the side of the house in which Enzo Ferrari was born. So the legend of Ferrari started right here. This museum is made of two parts. These two parts are integrated to each other. Due to time reason, today we are going to visit only the main gallery, but after May the 18th, you are going to appreciate also the historical part of the museum, so the house of Enzo Ferrari and also the mechanical workshop. As far as the historical part is concerned, I would like to give you a couple of information about the offer of our museum. This house was restored. It was a building. It is a building from the 19th century. It was restored some years ago while the main gallery was being built. This house is a two-story house. One of these two floors can be visited. In some of the rooms, you will find some objects like the first Ferrari engine, the 12-cylinder from 1947. This engine was assembled on the first Ferrari that was presented on the opening day of the factory on March 12th of 1947. Then, in one of the rooms of this house, we have reconstructed, reproduced the office of Enzo Ferrari in his previous house in Maranello. There you will find memorabilia and objects he always used in his daily life. I think this is a chance to know the personal life of Enzo Ferrari. At the side of this house, we find the mechanical workshop, which is the place in which Enzo Ferrari's father was used to work. This mechanical workshop is today the Engines Museum. There we exhibit different kind of different kind of engines from the experimental ones to the 8 cylinders and the 12 cylinders, and some other cars you can take a narrower look at. This historical part is integrated by the modern part of the museum, which is the main gallery we are going to access in a few minutes. This gallery has a specific shape, a symbolic shape. In fact, it was designed by a studio, an architectural studio in London, Future System. The leader of this studio is Jan Kapitsky. Jan Kapitsky has always loved to experiment and to try new innovating forms, new innovating shapes. In fact, the shape of this gallery has the shape is like a hood, like a car hood. You can see it from outside and from inside. In the external part, you can see some sort of air intakes, as if we were right inside the hood of the car. So let's access this main gallery then, and let's appreciate this exhibition. This is the main gallery, as I was saying. The current exhibition was presented for the first time on February the 18th of this year. This presentation was not done randomly on February the 18th, but because the 18th was the birthday of Enzo Ferrari. Here we have Mr. Lemercier. He has been working for 10 years in the style department, and today he deals with special vehicles. He is an expert of Ferrari and of cars in general, so I will leave the floor to him so that he can present us some of the vehicles exhibited here. Thank you, Julia, and welcome here. You have noticed that you will have noticed that I have a French accent. I was born in France, but I've been working here in the style department of Ferrari for several years. I would like to start by showing you this example, 212E. This is the name of the model. It is a very peculiar model. It was born in 1952, and it is a sort of founding father for Ferrari. The story, the history of this vehicle is very important and interesting for more than one reason. First of all, Ferrari was only 5 years old when he created this car, and he decided to allocated this project to Pininfarina. He assigned the project to Pininfarina. In the previous years, he had been working with Touring and with different Italian body shops, above all with Vignale body shop. Then he realized that dialoguing and collaborating with Pininfarina was not easy. But then when he met for the first time Battista Farina, the first car they manufactured was a convertible car assembled on this very chassis, 212E. Only a few examples came out, and this very car you can see here in our museum is a unique example, a unique unit, because it belonged to the movie director Roberto Rossellini. But actually, he bought this car as a wedding gift to his wife, the Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman. The couple used this car a lot to travel around Europe and to go on vacation. They did a very beautiful travel from Rome to Paris. Paris is the first capital of our virtual tour. Then this car was abandoned and exported to the US. When the car was found again, it was repainted with these two shades of black and with this silver proof. As you can see here, the owner wanted to install the luggage rack again on the roof. This luggage rack is the same that was used by Roberto Rossellini and Ingrid Bergam. Please notice that this car has no rear view mirrors. So now we are going to leave from Rome and we will head Paris. We will go to France. In France, Ferrari has always had a lot of visibility. French people really love this brand. So strong connections were created between Ferrari and France. And after France, Ferrari started to head London, crossing the English Channel. That's why I would like to tell you another story. This is the Dino 246 GT. This car is very important in Ferrari's history because this is the first series model with the central engine. You can see here this brand, Dino. Dino was the name of Enzo Ferrari's son. Dino passed away when he was very young, so this was very painful to his father, and that's why Ferrari decided to dedicate the six-cylinder cars to his beloved son. This design is a masterpiece by Pininfarina. You can see that this car is extremely light. It is a low car. It is not that high, and you have this central position of the engine, the central position in the chassis, allowing for a very fluid and simple and elegant design. You can see here this very light column and this rear shield. You could have accessed the engine wood from behind. So this was a very good idea by a couple of designers, Aldo Glovarone and Leonardo Fioravanti. They were the inventors of this masterpiece. The connection with London is evident also in a series, in a TV series, The Persuaders, starring Roger Moore and Tony Curtis. Tony Curtis played the role of Danny Wilde, an American man who drove the Dino 246 GT, this car dedicated to Enzo Ferrari's son. We are in England now, but we are going to cross the Atlantic Ocean now to go to the US. So we land in New York City, and in this city, Ferrari was very important to, thanks to the importer Luigi Chinetti. Luigi Chinetti was very useful, was crucial to Ferrari, so to penetrate the US market. In those years, Luigi Chinetti had won with Ferrari the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1949. So Chinetti was a driver, a racer, but also a great entrepreneur. 10 years later, this model you see here came out at the end of the 50s, and this model was the 250 GT. The Americans used to call it the short wheelbase. In Modena, people actually were used to call this car differently. They used this name, the roundabout sedan car. This is one of the 176 cars manufactured, and this is one of the most desired pieces by collectors. You can see that the whole car body is in aluminium. It has a very racing style. You can see this headlight right in the windshield on the top of the hood. And actually, this car was more of a racing car. It won the GT Championship in 1971, and it ended up second in the Tour de France in the same year, 1971. Let's keep on with our storytelling. We are still in the US, and we can see here this road example of the 275 GT 4, another masterpiece by Pininfarina. Maybe there is a missing car here. It should be the 250 GTO. It had an even more racing style, and the 250 GTO inspired Pininfarina for the design of the 250 GT Road. You can see this very smooth design, perfect proportions, a very long hood, and a flat and curved windshield. In fact, the line of the windshield is inclined to the center, while the column is much smaller when you observe the side of the car. And then you have these very characteristic slots in the sides, adding some more details, a more sophisticated detail. Before I had talked to you about the roundabout sedan car. Here we have another round volume. In fact, the round back end was truncated, and it and the back end is now more elliptical. It has more of an elliptical shape. Well, the rear lights have been installed on this elliptical shape back end. This is another proof of the quality in the work of Pininfarina. Now, let's leave the US and let's go to China. We go to Shanghai. I'm not going to present all the models we have here in this exhibition. I'm going straight forward to the 612 Scaglietti. This model was born after the Ferrari GT Gran Turismo. Here we have a 2+2 car. Actually, it is a 4-seat car. It is still a coupe with two doors, and it was created for those clients, those Ferrari fans who wanted a Gran Turismo car, but at the same time wanted to be comfortable inside the car. This is a V12 engine with 540 horsepower. It is a very performance car. If you observe this car from very close, you see some stickers and writings. That's why mm, this is why, sorry, because this is because this car was used together with a sister car for a long tour throughout China, and it was a 15,000 miles tour. This tour was made in a very wild area of China. It was a very good marketing operation for Ferrari because thanks to this tour in China, Ferrari managed to increase its visibility abroad. Ferrari had been working since 1992 in China. Ferrari wanted to explore, to access, to penetrate this new market because this new market was important for the commercial development of the brand. In fact, Ferrari was also present in Japan. About Scaglietti, we see that the name of Pininfarina, the brand of Pininfarina, is still there, but the real name here is Scaglietti. This name belongs to this name, sorry, is a reference to Sergio Scaglietti, a body shop owner who prepared the cars for Enzo Ferrari, not only the road cars but also the race cars. For example, he dealt with the aluminium body for sports events. So this car has has the engine in a central position in the front. And this car evolves in this other car you are going to see now. This is the last part of our itinerary. We are in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi. And this is the FF. This vehicle is the first four-wheel drive as a standard production. The engine is a front V12 with 660 horsepower, 8,000 revolutions per minute. But at the same time, this car gives a lot of pleasure when you drive it. So driving pleasure is really paramount. You can see here these huge doors, and the line of the roof, instead of going down, it keeps on the same line going to the rear part, and it creates a lot of room, a lot of space for the in the rear seats, so that passengers can be comfortable. It is not a 2+2, it is rather a 4 seats car. In the tradition of GT, the FF is inspired to England. It is called shooting brake. English lords lied to create something similar on Bentley chassis and on Rolls-Royce chassis, but here everything is interpreted in a different way, in a Ferrari way. And at the end of this tour, we come back to Italy. We are in Rome again, and here we see a perfect expression of the GT Ferrari cars. This is the last vehicle created in Maranello. This was presented last year. It is a very streamlined coupe. You can see that shapes are pure. This engine is a turbo V8. It is in a central position. The engine is in a central position. The car is rich in details. As you can see, the design is beautiful. Everything is raised. Here you can see the lights, the front lights, and right below you can see this radiator grille, which is in the same color of the rest of the car body. So the front of this car really merges with the rest of the volume, creating harmony and creating this pattern of sculptures. Everything is so essential, everything is pure aesthetic. So this car, Roma, is not the real car, but it is actually more of a stylistic model just to approve the last phases, the last steps of design. I cannot open the door to show you the cockpit, but I will let you know that for the Roma, we have been working on how to rethink, how to review the interior of the Ferrari. We wanted to do something different. We wanted to create more room, more space inside. Obviously, the driver has a very good, a very broad control panel, a very large control panel, and the passenger participates in the driving experience thanks to an information panel providing him or her with all the information regarding the itinerary. I don't know how much time we have left, but I wanted to underline that the more you try to gain purity, the more you have to advance in innovation. A Ferrari client is a traditional man or woman because Ferrari fans love round lights and double round lights. But here we wanted to reinterpret them and we decided to make these rear lights, oval or elliptical. In fact, these rear lights are perfectly in line with the rest of the car, with the rest of the design. So thank you very much. I leave the floor to Julia so that she tells us the new conditions for the reopening starting from tomorrow. Thank you for your storytelling. As you could see, this exhibition is special this year. This exhibition is about traveling. Travel can be interpreted in different ways. For example, the travel of Ferrari, the metaphorical travel of Ferrari in so many decades, evolving the style, evolving technologies, but never losing the essence and never losing their roots. Also, we could talk about the space travel. For every client, the travel in this case starts in Maranello and ends up in any country worldwide. In fact, as you could see, Ferrari is present in more than 60 markets. We are in all continents, but due to space reasons, we decided to talk only about 5 cities. A further peculiarity of this exhibition are these portals, these hubs. These hubs represent thematic areas. In these areas, you can listen to songs, you can read information regarding the countries that are represented here. We are now ready to welcome you again in our museum. Obviously, Ferrari has taken the necessary safety measures to welcome you back. We are really excited about welcoming you again. We really want to open our doors again. I will tell you now the safety measures. You need to buy an online ticket, so you cannot buy the tickets here. So make your reservation, make your booking online. When you book, you need to select a day and a time slot. And the time slot. Obviously, people will access the museum in small groups. So please look for availability in the different time slots. Once you arrive here, someone will measure your body temperature, which shouldn't be higher than 37.5 degrees. If your temperature is higher, you will not access the exhibition area, but you will still get your ticket refunded or reschedule. You will reschedule your visit. It is compulsory to wear a mask, a face mask. This mask, you will have to wear it for the whole duration of the visit. If you don't find any mask, we will provide you with one. of this mask. You see here that there are some signals on the ground. That's the path where you need to follow. You also need to keep social distancing, at least 1 meter between one person and another. This is not true for children. Children aged 6 can stay next to their parents, and they shouldn't wear a mask. Obviously, if they want, they can do it, but it is not compulsory. Please remember that the maximum duration of your visit will be 1.5 hours. So to let most of the people in, so to give the possibility to everyone to visit our museum. Thank you, Julia. You're very well prepared. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Lemercier, for this beautiful storytelling. But this visit is not over. In fact, if you are following us in streaming, there is a beautiful surprise. Or, to better say, if you come here to visit this museum, you will be astonished, like we are, because they are about to show something beautiful on the wall in front of us. And I take the chance to remind you that you can find all these videos on the website motorvalleyfest.it.